Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Tavonte's World. And today is part 3 of me talking about the most traumatic year of my life. So I said that when my mother got out of the nursing home, we went to the path and we went straight into the shelter. Now, the experience after shelter, child. We went to the path. It was a lot of people there. And mind you, I was there, it was me, my sister, and my mother was in a wheelchair because she was disabled, couldn't walk. So it was us and it was us and all our belongings in the shelter. I'm at the path and we signed up. We had to wait. Yeah, there's a whole process you gotta go through. You gotta go through the metal detectors. You gotta fill out all these paperworks, and then you get transferred to this office where they basically interview you and they talk to you about stuff in your life and what's going on and why you need to be put in the shelter. And then after that, you go to this other room where they place you in this room, and you wait for your truck to come to take you to whatever shelter you're going to go to. And it's a all day type of process. Honestly, it's very much all day. And sometimes if you don't find placement you don't find a shelter to take you in, you'll have to I think spend a night there or something like that. I think you have to spend the night, or either they get you a room or something and you got to come back the next day and wait for your placement. Thank God. And let me tell you something, throughout this whole journey, God had us, because we got placed that same day. I believe we got the car came for us. I want to say 12 a.m. in the morning. And I know we didn't get to the shelter till 1 or 2, no, probably about 2 a.m. we got into the shelter. We got clocked in. We had to sign paperwork at the shelter, and then we got assigned our rooms. Now, I don't know how other shelters are, but the shelter we was at just so happened to be a hotel that they turned into a shelter. So I had got my own room. They had cable, they had the little, the cable that be at the hotels. And I got my own room and had its own bathroom. Then my mother and sister had to share a room because they were women and I was the only boy. So it was cool for me. We was in a hotel. It wasn't no rats. It wasn't no roaches. The only situation that I say we really had was food, really, because we didn't have money like that. My mother wasn't getting income. She wasn't getting food stamps because she was receiving food stamps at a time, but then my father had went and got on food stamps, so they took away her case. And tried to say it was food stamp fraud or something like that. So, and that's just a number of little spiteful things that they would call and tell me about when I was in college. The only person who really was getting money was me, and that was from unemployment. because the lady that worked at my job at college, she was like, y'all, whenever we would go on break, she was like, she'd be like, apply for unemployment and I'll put in the paperwork so y'all can get money while y'all not at school. And then when y'all come at school, get off it and come work here at the cab. Anyway, so I was getting like $98 a week. And that's what we had. So $98 had to feed us. And Family Dollar, Family Dollar was like, not Family Dollar, the Dollar Tree was like our best friend, because that's the only way where we could have went, and were able to get like juices, snacks, and noodles. Basically lived off oodles and noodles for like 2 months, honestly. And then every now and then, like my aunt, she not blood related. I wish she was. I'd rather have her. No, but no shade. I would rather have her as an aunt, because my auntie Yolanda, she like looked out for us a lot. Like, to go to the path that day that my mother got out of the nursing home, we went to my auntie Yolanda's house. Then we went to my auntie's house. We stayed there overnight, and then she drove us to the path, and she made sure we had a little change in our pocket for some food. And all like throughout the shelter, she would come in and help us out. Like, she bought us groceries one time. She would send us money to make sure we had food to eat. Like, she really looked out for us, and I will forever love her for that, because to know you have family members who know what's going on and don't even like call you or send you anything to be okay, yeah, we help or whatever, it's disheartening. It's always the people that's not in your family who's going to love you and support you the most. Point blank, period. So kudos to her. She deserved everything good in this world, and she gonna get it, because she was truly a blessing to us in the time of need, and she did her big one. And I love her. So 2 months in us being at the shelter, my mother finally got food stamps. So now when she got the food stamps, it was a bit better, because I ain't have to spend all my $98 on food and stuff. Because mind you, and also like the $98, it went for food, it went to food. I gave my sister money for school when I could. I ain't always give her money for food, because I ain't always have money for food. Like I said, it was only $98, and I had to have MetroCard fare for me, because as I said in part 2 or one of them, that I applied to go to LaGuardia Community College. So September is here. So once school started, I had to get up early, get up 5 o'clock in the morning, go get breakfast for my mother, and then go to school, and then go to school, come back home, do whatever I need to do for my mother, go in my room, study, or do whatever I need to do. And that's basically how it went. And then she started getting food stamps, and then she was able to get her disability, because she can't work another day in her life because of the plates and stuff on her back. So it was a whole lot going on, but it got way better throughout the process. And one thing, like, once COVID hit, was a blessing and a curse, I would say, because it was a curse because all the people that lost their lives due to the sickness, but it was a blessing because being on unemployment, bitch, we got the extra money. So, you know, it was, life got a little bit easier. You know, it wasn't too much worrying about what we gonna eat or what we gonna do. And then like my aunt would come pick me up and take me to the grocery store, and we get like go grocery shopping. And then also like throughout living in the shelter, I had got a health scare. I had like my kidney was hurting, and was hurting bad, was hurting for like a good 3 or 4 days. And I told my mother, I was like, my kidney's hurting bad, I think I need to go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital, and come to find out, I had a kidney infection, and I had my sugar levels were high. It was like 600 something, so I could have went in a diabetic coma. So then I was going to the doctors. They said I was a diabetic, and they put me on metformin and insulin. I take both. And I was like, oh my God, like I need to like take care of myself, because if I die, who gonna take care of my mother and sister? So it was that whole ordeal. And I believe I was like in my second semester at LaGuardia, and then I had to stay in the hospital for like 3 days. And then when I was in the hospital, I dropped out of college, because again, I was like on this for like a good, from 2019 to 2021 to summer of 2021, I was in a deep like depression. Like even before like this whole thing with the house and my mother getting sick happened, like I was in a deep depression from school, being away from home, and they telling me what's going on. And like I told y'all in my first couple of videos about the whole fight that happened, and my best friend got kicked out of school. So it was just like all of that was playing a role, and I was like so depressed. And then like going through this whole ordeal with my mom being sick and the shit that was going on in the house, like I became so numb, and I wasn't feeling, and I was eating away my feelings, and it was just a whole lot of bitch. And I almost like the fact that I almost could went in a diabetic coma is like crazy. And then I weighed like 375 pounds. Like 375 pounds on a person who's only like 4. On a person who's like only 5'2", you know. Being 375 pounds, all that weight on a small fraction, because like I'm only 4'9", y'all. Okay, I'm 4'9". Don't tell nobody, because when they ask, I say I'm 5 feet, but I'm only 4'9". So like that's a lot of weight on this little body structure. Okay, on this big little body structure. So like I could have died. Like I could have went in a diabetic coma. And I was going to the doctors. And also like around this time, I forgot to say this, but like around like this was happening like the ending of like I want to say like the summer of 2020. This process happened where things were getting better, and my mother, she could walk again. That was a relief, because everywhere we went I had to push her. So like I said, I had to push that weight and my 375 pounds, bitch. I was done. Bitch. Baby, my body couldn't take no more. So when we found out she could walk, baby, I was rejoicing. I don't gotta push her no more. So then, like, I was going to the doctors, and then my doctor sent me to this clinic that was like down the block from the doctor's office, and she put me in a weight loss program to get weight loss surgery. So I had got but I had to prove to them that I can lose weight on my own before surgery. So I had to change the way I eat and stuff. So I like cut out all the junk food, and I only ate like one time a day, and it was crazy. So then I got approved for weight loss surgery. Then I had got weight loss surgery in May, I think it was like May 5th of 2021. Like from 375 to 240 or whatever I weigh now, because I haven't weighed myself in a couple of months, but last time I weighed myself it was like 240, and that's a substantial amount of weight. I'm trying to get down to a nice 130, 135. Maybe I'll take 150. I just want to be in the lower 100s, if that makes sense, like in the middle 100, like 150, 135. You know, that's good for me, because I'm tired of being a big bitch, you know. So that was that. This time, like, my mother was cool with our case manager. They was cool. So a lot of stuff that wasn't allowed, we were able to do. Like, I went on a whole trip upstate for my birthday while in the shelter. My mother went to Alabama while we was in the shelter. My mother, now, like a couple years of us being in the shelter, my mother and father, they got on speaking terms, and my mother would go to the apartment that he had lived, because he lived at his sister's house, but then my aunt, God bless her soul, had died. So he was there, my cousins, my aunt's children was there, and then my other cousin, that man's son, was there. And my mother and sister would go over there and spend the night and stuff, you know, because like when you're in a shelter, you really don't have that much freedom. You really don't get to see outside that much unless you going to work or something like that, and you can't really move how you want to move because there's rules and regulations that you need to follow. So they were there most of the nights, and since they were cool with the case manager, I was able to like sign the board and stuff like that, because at shelter at 11:30 you gotta sign in, and every time you leave and go somewhere, you gotta sign in and out. So that's how that had worked. So like towards the end of us being in the shelter, it was pretty cool. I mean, the whole shelter experience, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. And I think it's mostly because we was like in a hotel that wasn't rat infested, it wasn't roach infested, and we had cleaning people who would come and clean up our rooms and take a little trash, because it was still a hotel. So it was a good experience. It was just, I guess we just had to adapt to what was around us and forget like what we were used to. So we stayed there for about 2 years, and then July 4th, or was it, no, July 3rd of 2021, we moved into this place that we live in now in Brooklyn. But going through this experience and going through what I went through in 2019, it showed me that like I am way stronger than what I always believed myself to be. It showed me the kind of person that I am, how understanding I am, because even throughout the whole thing of the feeling of betrayal from my father, and how he just like gave up the house and wasn't being honest about what he was doing, and us going to a shelter, and you know, of course, like in the beginning I was looking at him kind of sideways, because like, nigga, we your family, like this is the family you created, We your children. So how are you giving up on your children? That's how I felt. And it wasn't even so much about me, because I was damn near grown. I really was really mad about it because of my sister, because she was 16, still in high school, and she had to go through that. And not only she going through that, but she also trying to figure out who she is as a person as well. So it's like, this is too much. This is too much for her. You understand what I'm saying? I was mostly thinking about her. But anyway. But I also learned how understanding I am. And looking back, I do see why he did it. You know, I can put myself in his shoes and see why he did it. And it's not the matter that he did it, it was the way he did it. You know, it could have been a better way to do it than the way you did it. Because the way you did it was evil and conniving. And now you have nothing. You understand what I'm saying? If he would have came up and been more man about it, if he would have been man about it, be like, look here, this is going on. This is what we got to do. Boom. But no, you waited until a person who you knew were going to fight you on it, on your decision. You waited till they were down and out to do what you did. And then you didn't have the balls to tell your children about it. You hid it. And that's the part to me that I don't like, and that I will never understand. And to that man, my uncle, I don't know what's going on with him. Quite frankly, I don't care. And he don't never got to speak to me a day in their life. I don't care. And don't. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And we are put through these situations because these are our tests for our testimony. So that's why, like, when I started this thing out, I said this will be a pivotal story that I will always remember, that I will always tell, because this story, it shaped a new way of thinking for me. I mean, I was always like, understand, I was always could see the shoe on the other feet. But with this lesson that I learned from 2019, baby, because it was like hit after hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. And bitch, I was like, I don't have no more endurance. I can't go no further. I can't do it. But I'm here. You see, I'm here. I'm here. And I'm here. I'm 26. I'm working on following my dreams. I can say that I am living my life to the best of my abilities. I'm working on getting outside a little bit more, because I'm a house body. And I mean, I'm a homebody, so I don't really like outside that much. But I'm focusing on getting outside so much. I'm focusing on fixing my life, worrying about me, and doing what I need to do to get to where I need to be. You know, I finally feel that my assignment is done and over with. And what assignment, you may ask? Going through what I went through in 2019, like taking care of my parents and being a head of household. Well, being a non-official head of household. It, like, 2019, it shaped me to show me what a real man is. And I know deep down in my heart that when it comes to it, I can be a real man. Okay? It don't matter. It don't matter if my nails is painted. It don't matter who I lay with. When it gonna get tough, I can be a real man and handle business. That's what 2019 showed me. And that's one thing that I used to always pray for, is the strength and endurance. Because I never really believed that I had it in me to be a real man. Because honestly, the examples I had in my life, the examples I had in my life wasn't too good, but like they say, you can learn from a dummy. So right now I can say I'm just focused on me. I'm still learning myself, and I'm still doing, I'm still learning myself, and all I can do is be 100% me unapologetically everywhere I go. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Point blank, period. If you learn something from this 3-part series of this story, and if you just didn't hear nothing I said, just to this, okay? No matter what you go through in life, don't let it stop you from being who you are, okay? Don't let people change you. If you are something, you be that something 10 toes down, okay? Don't let nobody tell you you're not worth it. Don't nobody tell you you can't do it. Because honestly, you don't need nobody to believe in you. You don't need nobody to support you. And the people that you look for support from aren't going to be the ones that support you cold-heartedly. So you get out there and you do whatever it is you want to do. If you want to be a content creator, pick up that motherfucking camera. Pick up your phone camera. You done paid $1,000 and something for these iPhones. Pick that bitch up. Put on that motherfucking camera and film whatever you need to film. You may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I promise you, it's going to be a few thousand people that rock with you. Now, I'm not at 1,000 people, okay? Nowhere near it. But that's my fault because I'm not consistent with this. Another thing I say, be consistent with it, because I've seen people who start something 1 week and 2 months later, 500,000 followers. I don't know how they do it, but they say consistency. So get on your Zoom, as Coach Stone would say, and do your big one, okay? Handle every situation you go through with grace. Okay, because you don't know what people are going through, and you don't know what people have been through. And if you want grace for when you mess up from what you're going through, then you need to give grace to people. Okay, that's the end of this video. I love y'all. Thanks for the love and support. See you next week.